Okay, continuing on the setup configuration, we move to the event, which is basically, we touched on the motion detection recording earlier on in the record setup, and this goes into a bit more depth and advanced configuration on that. So if we click on that icon, you can see at the top it's telling us about motion detection. We've got 4 channels that on this DVR that we want to concentrate on, which is our 4 cameras. Okay, there may be an area of the image that you don't want the motion detection to actually work on, so you would go to set area, and the reason for this is if it was outside and you had some trees and bushes that when the wind caught them they blew and move around, that would trigger the motion detection. There's no point recording in a greater definition a tree moving, so you could actually mask that out in theory. So you can see we bring up the area, and everything that's blue in this particular instance is where the motion's going to, if it takes place, it's going to record for us. We can change this by left clicking and dragging and dropping, or coming across and deleting. Whatever we want to do, we can do this. So we'll set up our area however we want, with whatever area we need. We might not want to go to the top because of the lights. The light switch off, obviously it would change the motion, and we could literally leave it like this. We could clear here where this particular light is. Very versatile, a wonderful feature. Okay, and then we'll obviously fill these bits up here. Right click, come out of that. We notice the enable detection tick is highlighted. Obviously if it wasn't, then it would be no good. This needs to be done. You've got the buzzer alarm, so you can actually have an audible warning tone as it picks up motion if you require. You can set how long this buzzer will ring for. You might want it to ring for 16 seconds or 1 second. You may find you don't want it to work at all. Okay, the record channel is basically giving you an idea of how long it will record for once it's picked up motion on that particular channel. So you could, for example, say I will record all the time anyway, but I only want the motion to give me an audible warning. Therefore you would untick the record channel. If you wanted it to record on motion, you would tick it, leave it at 60 seconds, it's around a default, apply, confirm this, and then if you wanted to make the same parameters for each camera, you've got this option here of clicking all, save, and if we go to camera 2, that will have the same parameters. You've got a sensitivity tab here to allow you for different sensitivities for the motion. I think middle would obviously be the average setting, low and lower. Again, like we said about the trees moving in the wind, if there's stuff there that could cause false alarms, then lower the sensitivity. I'll just give you a quick demonstration of how the alarm would work. So if I go channel 1, enable detection, the buzzer, record, okay, apply and confirm. So I'll mimic some motion on the camera, and there you can see we've got the audible warning. The camera will be recording in motion on the configuration for 60 seconds, and when we showed you earlier about the playback and the different colours, tabs of green and yellow, the yellow was obviously the motion, so that particular incident would be picked up then on that yellow tab. Okay, another subsection to this event tab is exceptions. So again, it's really looking at events, i.e. in alarms. We showed you on the front panel of the DVR earlier the alarm LED, and an exception would be why it's going to trigger an alarm. Again, we showed you earlier about setting up an email folder to send notifications to. This again is linked to exceptions. So you can see on the screen the event type is no disk or a disk error. So we would not say no disk, we'd say disk error, because we've got a disk hard drive fitted now. We've obviously purchased the hard drive separately and fitted it as we showed you earlier. We can enable this exception. We would say screen display. It will give us a visual notification on the screen. That's a good thing. If we set up the email notification, you would tick send email, and buzzer alarm would give you the audible warning, and the front panel of the DVR would come up with the alarm LED lit. We would apply this. So if you had a problem with your hard drive, whereas maybe there's an issue with partition or bad sectors, then it would trigger this exception rule and give you notification however you have enabled it in this menu. Network exception is basically letting you know that you've got a conflict of IP. So if another device has come into your network and taken the same LAN IP as your DVR, this would cause a problem and mean the DVR would not be able to transmit across the network. A broken network would simply mean that the cable's been disconnected. So if we click broken network, enable screen display, and we'll put buzzer alarm, apply. Okay, if I was to now disconnect the Ethernet cable from the back of the DVR, this causes an alarm, an audible warning, a visual warning on the top, I believe, and it should reset itself once we're plugged back in after a brief period. So there are your exceptions to your notifications of events. You've got the disk exception and the network exception, both very good tools